agree. I ain't saying that I'm better than anyone, but who better than me?
Welcome back to the channel, and once again, welcome back to Base Talks. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It is appreciated. Now, my second time having the pleasure to speak with the gentleman, Chris BILLAM-SMITH, although it's the first time on this channel. So, yeah, I managed to have a pretty good conversation with Chris. I feel like it flowed nice. He's always a great person to talk to, very personable. It's always a pleasant conversation. He always gives ample time to everyone when he's doing his when he's doing his media rounds. So much respect to him. Have a watch, have a listen, let me know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll catch you guys afterwards. This is Base the Kid, the hardcore casual, and I'm delighted once again to be joined by the gentleman, Chris BILLAM-SMITH. Although I feel like you weren't very gentlemanly at the press conference today. Was there a bit more needle than you was expecting? Talk to me just about the exchanges between you and Richard.
No, it was just having some fun. Gentleman's allowed to enjoy himself, right? And we had some fun. He contradicted himself a few times, so I just pulled him up on that. But yeah, it was great.
Now look, we've done this dance before, or I should say you and him have, but with that, I know some people have a fear of the unknown and some people have a fear of the familiar, and then obviously there's some people are comfortable with the unknown and familiar. Like, where do you kind of sit in this one? Because you've experienced each other's styles before, you've been in there before, but you've both grown exponentially since then. So is there enough of a fear factor to keep you on point and keep you mentally switched on in this fight?
Yeah, of course. You know, there's a lot riding on it in the sense that the world title's on the line. For me, I see it as sort of probably my last domestic fight, to be honest with you, because once I beat Richard, he's sort of the last of the current crop that are at world level. You know, Isaac's sort of coming back, but I've already boxed Isaac, so I'm sure he'd like to fight me if he wins next. But the other side of things, if he's in my position, he's going to want to look to unify. So yeah, for me, there's a, and I want to go and unify and box in America and stuff. So that's all riding on this fight. So be very switched on.
Now, seeing that both of you, again, you're familiar with each other how you used to be, but you've both grown since then. What, I guess, key attributes for Richard, maybe apart from the power, because we all know that's there, but is there anything else that you feel like you have to train extra hard for him? And then what do you think he's got to be training extra hard for you? No,
I think a lot of people, if you can avoid most of Richard's power, but it's not one punch knockout power in the sense of, you know, everyone's left on the canvas unconscious. Everyone gets stopped on their feet with him, so he might trouble people a little bit, and then most of the time he just sort of mauls them over, and the ref jumps in or the towel gets thrown in, and that's the truth. And it's people paint a picture like he's Deontay Wilder knocking people unconscious, but he's not. And you know, and people underestimate my power, which is great, and let them do that. I think everyone talks about Lawrence being the big puncher in our fight, but I was the one who stayed on my feet the whole fight and obviously knocked him down. So I let people, you know, think their ways, and I just see it as focusing on me and what I do well.
Funny enough, you go back to that Lawrence fight. I just actually want to touch on that, because obviously in that fight you was ill beforehand, and you still managed to grit it out. The Masternak fight, I think a lot of people, myself included, felt that he was getting the better of that, but you ground it out and you found a way, as you always do. The last time I spoke to you, I did say, you know, where was that line between, you know, being in those really entertaining fights and being a fun fighter, someone that everyone has value in, but also career longevity. Now with this one, you've been in there with Richard before, you know what it's like, and you know that it's one of those times when you're going to have to go back into that world, dig deep again. You're likely going to get caught at least once. Like, what is it about you that just keeps you in that mode of, I can take what you can dish out, but you can't do it in return?
It's just inbuilt. It's just inbuilt when you have that tenacity and that just never say die attitude. And you know, I'll give my all in every fight till the end, and I will. You know, you have to nail me to the canvas. and I don't think anyone can do that. And that's what I believe. It's just how I feel, and it's a belief of mine, and it's proven, you know, in a lot of fights.
Now, Richard said to me a little earlier on that he doesn't feel you would have survived the life that he had prior to boxing, and that's one of the innate strengths that he has, the strength of character. You've just said there you've got an innate will and you just won't be defeated in that sense. So where does yours come from if his one comes from a quote-unquote a hard background, a hard upbringing? Yeah,
phenomenal story. You know, he's done really well to get to this point, and he is an inspiration to go from where he was to fight for a world title. That's a great story. And maybe back then, if I was his age and I wouldn't have survived at that point, I wasn't even boxing at 15. So who knows? But it's irrelevant. I don't know where mine comes from. Maybe it's just, you know, I've got two older brothers who one of them especially used to give me dead legs every day. Yeah, and no, it's just you make yourself. You're not just born a certain way. You're not just born a great fighter. You're not just born to whatever job you may do, or what your strengths and your weaknesses. They aren't. You're not born with them. They're created. So I've created myself into this, to what I am now, and I'm very proud of it.
Thank you. Listen, last one for me. I appreciate your time. Ultimately, you're coming to Selhurst Park. You're coming to his home territory this time. It's another big stadium fight for you, which is what you are craving. How much more memories have you got left to create in the sport before you start thinking about hanging it up? Because you've done quite a bit so far, and some people will say that you've overachieved. I don't know if you believe that, but what else is left after this? Yeah,
unify, fight in America. Hopefully I can do that in the fight after this one. Deal with the mandatory, get over to the States, and fight Zurdo Ramirez for the for the WBA title. You know, that's two. You know, a unification and fighting in America is two dreams of mine. So it'd be great to get the opportunity in one night, and then we'll be looking at, you know, the other champions, whether that's Opatara or Breedis or you know, the winner of that fight. Then you got no Givor, and who knows? But sort of working like two fights at a time, to be honest. I always have done. You know, with the Lawrence fight, I was expecting a rematch, and obviously it didn't happen. With the Masnek fight, it was Masnek and then Richard. Now it's Richard, and then Zurdo is my number one choice because of everything that comes with it of fighting in the States. So if you're a British boxing fan, you want to headline big domestic fights in Britain and win world titles at your team's football stadium, in my example, and then you want to go to the States and you want to do something over there because they're special nights. We've seen many fighters do it before. Ricky Hatton, Darren Barker went over there and boxed over there. Kell Brook went over there and won his world title over there. You know, Calzaghe, you know, the list goes on and on. But that'd be really special to be amongst those names.
Listen, Chris, all the best. Thank you very much for your time. And I hope you make it to the ring safely on the 15th, and we'll see. May the best man win.
Awesome. Thank you, mate. Cheers.
So that was the words of the gentleman. He is very confident. He definitely wants to right the wrong as far as he sees it from their first fight. And I mean, look, if he's ever gonna have an opportunity to do that, the time is now. I mean, I will say the fact that he is looking towards like what's ahead in terms of possibly trying to get that unification fight in America. Maybe overlooking the opponent a little bit, but with that being said, because I don't think Shane will allow him to overlook an opponent, and I think because he has that loss over Richard Riakporhe, I think he will be dialed in and locked into this fight, and everything else is, and maybe the future opponent is actually giving him more motivation to make sure that he's switched on in this fight, because he's still got plans he hasn't managed to accomplish yet. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Best of luck to him, same as I said to Richard, and yeah, I guess we will find out nearer the time, or more appropriately on the day, who leaves Selhurst Park with that belt. But until then, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.